Hi, my name is Yannick, and we're gonna try to identify different phishing attacks that threat actors use. So, phishing attack is basically when threat actors pretend to be someone that you know in order to get sensitive information from you. So, here we start off by inventing a name, don't put your real name, and also inventing an email, and then we're gonna click next once we're done with that. So once we're done putting in our email, we're going to click on next. And this is our first scenario of phishing attacks. So we basically have to identify if it's a phishing attack or if it's legitimate. So what I'm doing here is basically checking the instructions, and then I'm going to analyze the email piece by piece. So what they recommend is you have to be very careful not to click on the links or any attachment. So what you can do is hover over the document or the link. Don't click on it, just put your mouse over it so you can see the complete link. And in that link, you'll be able to read like if it's from a legitimate domain or normally you'll see like some different symbol signs that will give you an idea that it's a phishing attack. So that's basically what I did here. I analyzed the attachment and yeah, I'm just going over just to be sure. This one was quite difficult, to be honest, because I prefer to catalog it as phishing most of the time. But in this case, I went for legitimate, and then I realized that it's actually a phishing attack. So it says here is I giving you a little bit more about it, and it says that it brings you to the Drive document, but not from Google. No? So it's taking you to a different domain. So that one actually tricked me, to be honest. In this one, we're gonna analyze the same thing. So we read the instructions. So you've received a fax. I don't think people use fax that much these days, but in case you do, you should be able to identify that. So you check the sender, the date, all the information in the email. You read at the bottom because sometimes they put all these details at the bottom, copyright, trademark, mark, and all these signs to convince you or basically to prove that it's something legitimate when it's really not. So when you hover over the link, normally it's like the information that you see in blue. You'll get a string of details that it tells you where the link takes you. So in this case, I decided to go with phishing because it wasn't giving me the correct domain, which would be efax.com. It was giving me something else. So I opted for phishing. And here it's basically telling you that the link is actually mailru382.co. And normally when you see these things, they're not legitimate domains, so you know that something is fishy. Yeah. So basically I'm like I'm analyzing, to be sure. The next one, time for a trip down memory lane. So here, like when I normally see things like this is a photo, like you can literally put the photo in an email. So if they send me an attachment, I'm usually gonna catalog this one as phishing. So I was about to click on it, but I took my time to analyze it and it was actually correct. It is a phishing email, so you have to be careful. If you notice the URL sends you to ctext.net, I don't know what that is anyways, but it's not a legitimate domain name, so you have to be careful. This one is actually from Dropbox. For those of you who use Dropbox, I don't know what is happening to my mouth, but they share different files with you through Dropbox, and you can check you have access to it and so forth. So basically, I'm hovering over the links or the blue content in the email just to be sure of the URL that is going to give me, and I analyze the URL. If it's giving me a legitimate domain, then I will most likely catalog this one as legitimate. So I'm basically taking my time because as a security analyst, you really have to be patient and you have to analyze all the aspects of the email just to make sure that you choose the correct action. Okay, so this one I did legitimate and it was actually correct. So everything showed me that the URL was actually taking me to the legitimate domain, which is dropbox.com. So that's the reason why I chose this one. And when you click on the show me, it explains like why your answer is correct or why your answer is incorrect. Okay, so yes. The next, you received a new kind of report from the school. So here it says usually their emails come from and they give you, no? So if you compare it, you see that okay, it comes from the same email as mentioned above, but like when you hover over the attachment, it's like the link, something is just not right in this one. So I'm basically analyzing, like going back and forth checking because this one was really difficult. You know, sometimes you get emails from your kid's school and you're like, well, I know the person is the principal or whoever. So you just have to be careful. And in this case, I went for phishing, and then I'm gonna ask to show me, and then it's gonna explain why. And it's showing me that the email usually comes from Westmount's school, but in this case, they put they. So just like with an extra number, letter, or a word, it completely changes the domain or the email address. So we have to look out for that as well. The next one, someone has been trying to access your account. And I don't know if you've seen these emails and they put like alert. This is for you to act quickly or for you to be so scared that you end up clicking on the malicious links, which usually takes you to a malicious website. So here I'm analyzing also all the different aspects of the email. When I hover over the change password button, I can see if the domain is legitimate, what URL link it's sending me to, and so forth. And then I went for phishing in this one, which is also correct. And then I click on the show me, like to get more information into why it is considered as a phishing email. And then it says the sender's address google.support isn't used. I think this is general knowledge. Google.support doesn't exist. In case you ever get an email from google.support, just make sure that you check it carefully because it's not real. The next, your account seems to be under attack again. So urgency, they are trying to instill fear in you. And normally when you see government, all those things, you get worried because, like, oh, it's from the government, blah, 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 blah. So you might be challenged to act quickly. So I am just analyzing the email. I'm doing the same thing. I hover over the links to see what the URL is and if it actually matches the domain from the email or from the sender. So in this one, I went for phishing and it's actually correct because once you click on this link, it takes you to a fake login page. And when you input all your information, then this is where they're going to steal your credential or your personally identifiable information like your name, your address, your telephone number, and so forth. So, yep. You've signed up for a travel planning service. This one I think was the most difficult one for me because I prefer to catalog something as phishing and then have my IT department or someone who is more capable analyze the email to make sure that it's not. But in this case, I think I chose phishing when it wasn't really. But the thing that scared me the most is where it says view your email messages and settings. I'm like, hello, why do they want to see my email messages? So I think this happens actually when we use our Gmail account to create other accounts, and they normally ask you for access or authorization to your Gmail account. I really think it's something that we should stop doing. And me also, I have to stop doing that because I did not know that they could actually view so many private things. That's why sometimes Google asks you, are you sure you want to give this account access to your Gmail account? They ask you like 2 times. No, you have to confirm. So for me, to be honest, I checked everything and I decided it was phishing. But based on what they said here, it's legitimate because the domain actually sent me to well, to the business domain, which is trip triplit or tripit.com or something like that. So this one was legitimate, but as I said before, I prefer to go with phishing. I'm always on guard, and then this will give me more time to analyze the email to see if it's actually worth it. So I got 6 out of 8. I hope you guys try out the quiz to see